I stood outside Romano's restaurant on my 70th birthday, rain soaking through my coat. The hostess had just refused me entry. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Fletcher. Your daughter called this morning. She said you've been having episodes, that you might cause a disturbance." I stared at her, confused. Episodes. I'd never felt better. My doctor confirmed it last week. Sharp mind, steady hands, healthier than women half my age. Behind me, a black car idled at the curb. Through the window, I saw my daughter Vanessa watching. She didn't wave, didn't smile, just watched as I stood there, humiliated. This was the restaurant where my late husband Richard and I celebrated every anniversary for 30 years. Where we marked promotions, birthdays, our daughter's college acceptance. I'd reserved table 12, Richard's favorite, by the fireplace. Now the hostess blocked the door like I was dangerous. "Please understand," she continued. "We're just following your daughter's instructions. She seemed very worried about you." A man approached from behind me, mid-30s, holding a small boy's hand. The child wore a blue raincoat, clutching a stuffed elephant. "Excuse me," the man said quietly. I couldn't help overhearing. "I'm Daniel Warren. This is my son, Oliver." The boy looked up at me with curious eyes. Daniel leaned closer, his voice dropping. "Leave it to me. Something's wrong here. I know what your daughter's doing." My heart stopped. How could this stranger know anything about Vanessa? "What are you talking about?" Daniel glanced at the hostess, then at Vanessa's car. "Not here. Too many ears. But I've seen this before. Trust me for 5 minutes. Will you?" Oliver tugged his father's sleeve. "Daddy, is this the lady you told me about? The one we're helping?" Daniel squeezed his son's hand gently. "Yes, buddy. This is her." I looked between them, completely lost. How did they know about me? Why were they here? Daniel pulled out his phone, showing me a photograph. My breath caught. It was Vanessa sitting across from a man I'd never seen before. They were at a coffee shop, documents spread between them. The timestamp showed yesterday. "Who is that?" I whispered. "Attorney named Mitchell Barnes. Specializes in conservatorship cases. Your daughter met him 4 times this month." My legs felt weak. Conservatorship meant taking control of someone's life, their finances, their decisions. It meant declaring them incompetent. That's impossible. Vanessa wouldn't. Daniel's expression was grim. "Mrs. Fletcher, I'm a private investigator. 3 weeks ago, a law firm hired me to gather evidence about your mental state. They wanted proof you were declining. I was supposed to interview your neighbors, your friends, document any confusion or forgetfulness." The rain fell harder. Oliver pressed closer to his father. "But I refused the job," Daniel continued. "Because I investigated your daughter instead. What I found made me sick." Daniel guided me under the restaurant's awning, out of the rain. Oliver stayed close, his small hand gripping his father's jacket. "Your daughter filed preliminary conservatorship paperwork 2 months ago," Daniel explained. "She claimed you have dementia, that you're a danger to yourself. She submitted medical reports from a doctor you've never seen." My mind reeled. Dr. Peterson. My actual doctor said I'm fine. Exactly. But Vanessa hired someone else. Dr. Hugh Winters. He evaluated you without your knowledge, apparently. I laughed bitterly. How do you evaluate someone without meeting them? Daniel's jaw tightened. You don't. The evaluation is fake. Winters gets paid to sign whatever his clients need. He's done this 17 times before. Oliver looked up at me. My mommy tried to do the same thing to Daddy. That's why we know about the bad lawyers. Daniel's expression softened when he looked at his son. My ex-wife attempted to declare me incompetent last year. She wanted custody and my business. I learned how these schemes work. I glanced at Vanessa's car. She was on her phone now, gesturing. Why would my daughter do this? I gave her everything. College, her business startup, her house down payment. Daniel pulled up another photo. A bank statement with Vanessa's name. The balance showed negative $80,000. She's drowning in debt. Credit cards, personal loans, a failed boutique. She needs money desperately. My chest tightened. So she's trying to steal from me. Conservatorship gives her legal control. She can access your accounts, sell your property, make all financial decisions. And you'd have no power to stop her. Oliver tugged my sleeve. Don't be sad, Daddy stopped the bad people. We can help you too. I looked down at this brave little boy, then at his father. Why are you helping me? You don't know me. Daniel met my eyes steadily. Because nobody helped me when I needed it. I almost lost everything. Now I help others who are being targeted. The restaurant door opened. The hostess stepped out, uncomfortable. Mrs. Fletcher, I'm afraid I need to ask you to leave the property. Your daughter is calling the police, claiming you're harassing staff. My hands clenched into fists. This is insane. Daniel held up his phone, showing the hostess his investigator credentials. I'm a licensed private investigator. This woman's daughter is perpetrating fraud. Those calls she made this morning were false reports. Mrs. Fletcher has every right to be here. The hostess hesitated. I don't want trouble. Then check with your manager. Call Mrs. Fletcher's actual physician, Dr. Peterson. Verify her mental state before denying her service based on false claims. She glanced between us, then nodded slowly. Wait here. Oliver watched her go, then looked up at me. You should call the police on the mean daughter instead. Despite everything, I smiled. You're pretty smart, young man. Daniel crouched to Oliver's level. Buddy, remember what we talked about? Grown-ups sometimes do bad things for money. We have to be the good guys who stop them. The manager emerged, a tall woman named Patricia. She'd worked here since Richard and I started coming. Angela Fletcher. She smiled warmly. I remember you and Richard. I'm so sorry about your loss. Relief washed through me. Patricia, thank you. There's been a misunderstanding. Your daughter called 3 times this morning, very insistent. But I also called Dr. Peterson myself just now. He confirmed you're in excellent health, mentally and physically. She shot an annoyed look at the hostess. We should never have turned you away based on unverified claims. Your table is ready. Vanessa's car door opened. She stepped out, phone pressed to her ear, eyes blazing. Daniel positioned himself between us. Mrs. Fletcher, go inside. Enjoy your birthday dinner. I'll handle your daughter. I can't just leave you. Yes, you can. You deserve one peaceful meal. Let me do what I do best. Patricia gestured toward the door. Please, Mrs. Fletcher. Table 12 is waiting. Oliver waved. Happy birthday, I walked inside, legs shaking, mind racing. Table 12 sat exactly as I remembered. Fireplace crackling nearby, white tablecloth, Richard's favorite view of the garden. I sank into the chair, memories flooding back. Our 40th anniversary, Richard had worn his grey suit. We'd shared tiramisu and talked about retirement, about travelling to Italy. He'd held my hand across this table, eyes twinkling. Promise me you'll be happy, even after I'm gone, he'd said. I'd promised, though I couldn't imagine life without him. Now, 2 years later, I was fighting my own daughter for the right to control my life. Through the window, I watched Daniel talking to Vanessa. His posture was calm but firm. Vanessa gestured angrily, pointing at the restaurant, at me. Oliver stood slightly behind his father, elephant clutched tight. The waiter appeared. Mrs. Fletcher, welcome back. We've missed you. May I start you with something to drink? White wine. Make it a large glass. I pulled out my phone and called my attorney, Harold Bennett. He'd handled Richard's estate, our wills, everything legal for 20 years. Harold, I need help. Emergency. Within minutes, I'd explained everything. The conservatorship filing, the fake medical evaluation, Vanessa's debt. Harold's voice turned ice cold. Angela, I'm pulling those court filings right now. Give me 2 minutes. I heard typing. The restaurant filled with evening diners, normal people having normal birthdays, anniversaries. Nobody else was fighting their child for independence. Found it, Harold said. Filed 6 weeks ago. Preliminary hearing scheduled for next month. She's claiming progressive dementia, inability to manage finances, risk of self-harm. My hands shook. None of that is true. I know. We'll fight this. But Angela, she's also filed to access your accounts immediately under emergency provisions. Claims you're being financially exploited by caregivers. I laughed bitterly. I don't have caregivers. I live alone, manage everything myself. Exactly. Which means this entire filing is fraudulent. I'm requesting an emergency hearing to dismiss and investigate her for filing false documents. Outside, the confrontation intensified. Vanessa grabbed Daniel's arm. He stepped back, maintaining distance. Oliver moved behind his father's legs. Patricia, the manager, walked out to intervene. I watched through the window as my daughter's face contorted with rage. This woman who I'd raised, loved, sacrificed for. The woman who used to bring me tea on Sunday mornings, who'd cried at her father's funeral clinging to my arm. When had she become this stranger? My phone buzzed. Text from Daniel. She's threatening lawsuit. Don't engage. Stay inside. Enjoy dinner. The waiter returned with my wine and a small plate. Compliments of the house, Mrs. Fletcher. Bruschetta, just like you and Mr. Richard used to share. Tears stung my eyes. Thank you. I raised the glass toward Richard's empty chair. Happy birthday to me, sweetheart. Wish you were here. You'd know what to do. The wine was crisp and cold, steadying my nerves. 20 minutes later, Daniel and Oliver entered the restaurant. Patricia seated them at a nearby table. Oliver waved excitedly. We did it, Daddy. The mean lady left. Daniel caught my eye and nodded. After they ordered, he came over to my table. She's gone. But she's furious. She threatened to have me arrested for harassment, sued for interference. Standard intimidation tactics. I gestured to Richard's empty chair. Please, sit. I owe you more than I can say. Daniel sat, glancing back at Oliver who was coloring on a kid's menu. Your daughter left when I mentioned I'd recorded our entire conversation, including her admitting she hasn't seen you in 6 weeks but filed medical claims about daily observations. You recorded her. I record everything. Learned that the hard way. He pulled out a small device from his jacket. Every word is documented. Her threats, her lies, everything. Your attorney will love this. I shook my head in disbelief. How did you even know to be here tonight? Daniel leaned back, his expression thoughtful. 3 weeks ago, Mitchell Barnes's office called me. They wanted surveillance on you. Follow you, document any confusion, photograph anything that suggested decline. Standard work for conservatorship cases. He paused. But something felt wrong. The assistant who called me slipped up. She mentioned your daughter was very motivated, that there was a lot of money involved. So I did background research before accepting. And your medical records are clean. No dementia diagnosis, no hospital visits, no prescriptions for cognitive issues. You drive, you manage your own finances, you're active in your community. Nothing supported their claims. He pulled out a folder, sliding it across. So I investigated Vanessa instead. Found the debt, the failed business, the fake medical evaluation. Found 6 other people Dr. Hugh Winters had fraudulently diagnosed. I brought everything to your attorney yesterday. My mouth fell open. Harold knew. He's been building a case. Today was about catching Vanessa in action. The restaurant scene, her public claims, all documented. I opened the folder. Bank statements showing Vanessa's declining finances. Credit reports with red flags everywhere. Most damning, an email chain between Vanessa and Mitchell Barnes discussing the old woman's assets and timeline for full access. My hands shook with rage and heartbreak. She called me the old woman like I'm not her mother. Daniel's voice gentled. I know this hurts. But you need to see who she's become. Not who you want her to be. Oliver appeared beside the table, elephant dangling from one hand. Daddy, can Mrs. Fletcher eat birthday cake with us? I asked them to bring extra plates. I looked at this sweet boy, so full of compassion. I'd love that, Oliver. Thank you. The waiter appeared with a small cake, candles flickering. Other diners began singing happy birthday. Strangers celebrating a woman they didn't know. Daniel and Oliver sang loudest. When I blew out the candles, Oliver asked, "What did you wish for?" For good people in my life. And I think that wish already came true. We ate cake together, the three of us. Oliver told me about his school, his best friend, his pet hamster named Whiskers. Normal, beautiful conversation. Daniel explained his business. After my ex-wife's attempt to destroy me, I specialized in elder fraud and family exploitation cases. I've seen everything. Adult children stealing from aging parents, fake medical evaluations, forged documents. How often does this happen? I asked. More than you'd think. Billions stolen every year from elderly people, usually by family members. Courts are overwhelmed, can't investigate every claim. So predators exploit the system. Oliver munched cake, listening intently. Daddy helps the good people. Like superheroes. Daniel smiled. Something like that, buddy. My phone buzzed. Harold, emergency hearing granted. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. Judge Morrison wants to see all parties immediately. Bring the recordings. I showed Daniel. He nodded with satisfaction. That's fast. Judge Morrison doesn't tolerate fraud. She'll destroy Vanessa's case before lunch. What happens to Vanessa? I asked quietly. Daniel met my eyes. That depends on how far she's willing to dig herself in. The next morning, I stood outside courtroom 4B with Harold and Daniel. Oliver was with Daniel's mother for the day. Vanessa will have Mitchell Barnes, Harold explained. He's slick, expensive, good at manipulating sympathy. But we have facts on our side. The courtroom doors opened. Vanessa sat at the defendant's table with Barnes, a silver-haired man in an expensive suit. She wouldn't look at me. Judge Sylvia Morrison entered, a sharp-eyed woman in her 60s. This is a preliminary hearing regarding conservatorship petition filed by Vanessa Fletcher against her mother, Angela Fletcher. We're here because Mrs. Fletcher's attorney has filed fraud allegations. Let's begin. Barnes stood smoothly. Your Honor, my client is a devoted daughter concerned about her aging mother's welfare. Recent behavioral changes, memory issues, and risky financial decisions prompted this filing. Harold stood. Your Honor, I have Dr. Peterson's sworn affidavit confirming Mrs. Fletcher's excellent cognitive health. I also have evidence Ms. Fletcher's claims are entirely fabricated to access her mother's assets. Judge Morrison leaned forward. Strong accusation, Mr. Bennett. Evidence. Harold presented the fake evaluation from Dr. Winters. This physician never met my client. He's been sanctioned 3 times for similar fraud. He signed this evaluation based solely on Ms. Fletcher's description. Barnes objected. Hearsay, Your Honor. Overruled. Continue, Mr. Bennett. Harold played Daniel's recording. Vanessa's voice filled the courtroom. I need access to her accounts immediately. The old woman has over $2 million just sitting there. Once the conservatorship is granted, I can pay off my debts, restart my business. Barnes's face paled. Vanessa stared at the table. Judge Morrison's expression turned to ice. Ms. Fletcher, did you file this conservatorship petition primarily to access your mother's money? Vanessa whispered, I need help financially, but I also care about her. Answer the question directly. Yes. I need the money. But she's old, she doesn't need that much. The courtroom went silent. I felt my heart break completely. Judge Morrison removed her glasses. Ms. Fletcher, you filed false medical claims, submitted fraudulent evaluations, and publicly slandered your mother to access her assets. That's elder financial abuse, fraud, and perjury. Barnes tried to intervene. Your Honor, if we could discuss a settlement. No settlement. This case is dismissed with prejudice. Ms. Fletcher is barred from filing any future conservatorship claims. The judge turned to the bailiff. I'm also referring this case to the district attorney for criminal investigation. Ms. Fletcher, you may face charges. Vanessa finally looked at me, tears streaming. Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't mean. I was desperate. I stood, my voice steady. You tried to steal my freedom, my dignity, my life. Because you were desperate for money you didn't earn. I'm your daughter. You were my daughter. Today, you're a stranger who committed fraud against an old woman who loved you. Harold touched my arm. Angela, let's go. As we left, Vanessa sobbed at the table. Barnes packed his briefcase, abandoning her. Outside the courtroom, Daniel waited. That afternoon, I sat in my living room with Daniel and Oliver. The little boy played with toy cars on my carpet while his father reviewed documents. The DA is moving forward, Daniel said. Vanessa will likely face charges. Could mean prison time, though first offenders sometimes get probation. Oliver looked up. Is the mean lady going to jail? Maybe, buddy. She did bad things. I watched this child, so innocent, and thought about Vanessa at that age. Sweet, loving, full of joy. Where did I go wrong? Daniel seemed to read my thoughts. This isn't your fault. People make choices. She chose greed. My phone rang. Unknown number. Mrs. Fletcher. This is Detective Amy Cole, Financial Crimes Unit. I need to discuss your daughter's case. Within an hour, Detective Cole sat in my living room, recording my statement. She was thorough, professional, sympathetic. We're building a case against Dr. Winters too, she explained. Your daughter isn't his only victim. 6 other families have come forward. 6. Elder fraud is epidemic. Adult children, caregivers, attorneys, all targeting vulnerable people. Over the following week, the story exploded. Local news picked it up. Daughter attempts conservatorship fraud against healthy mother. Then national outlets called. I declined interviews, but the story spread anyway. Dr. Hugh Winters was arrested. His medical license suspended. Mitchell Barnes faced ethics investigations. And Vanessa disappeared from public view. Harold called daily with updates. The DA offered Vanessa a plea deal. 5 years probation, full restitution of legal costs, mandatory counseling, and a permanent restraining order. She took it. Her new attorney advised it. Prison would destroy her. This way, she has a chance to rebuild. I sat in Richard's garden, his favorite roses blooming despite everything. What would you do? I asked his memory. Would you forgive her? The wind rustled leaves. No answer came. Daniel visited often, bringing Oliver. The boy had become attached to me, calling me Grandma Angela, which made my heart ache and sing simultaneously. You're wonderful with him, Daniel observed one afternoon while Oliver chased butterflies. I miss having a child around. One evening, Daniel asked the question I'd been dreading. Do you want to reconcile with Vanessa? I watched Oliver play in the fading sunlight. I don't know. Part of me wants my daughter back. Part of me knows she's gone. Maybe she was never who you thought. Maybe. Or maybe grief and desperation turned her into someone else. Daniel nodded slowly. When my ex-wife tried to destroy me, I hated her. Wanted revenge. But eventually, I realized hatred was poison. I chose indifference instead. How? I focused on Oliver. On building something good from the ruins. I couldn't control her choices, only mine. The wisdom struck deep. I couldn't control Vanessa's choices. Only my response. A week later, I received a letter. Vanessa's handwriting. My hand shook opening it. Dear Mom, I know sorry isn't enough. I know I destroyed everything. But I need you to understand I was drowning. The debt, The shame, the fear. I saw your money as salvation. I was wrong. So wrong. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I needed you to know I loved you. I still do. I just loved money more, and that makes me a monster. Your daughter, Vanessa. I read the letter 5 times. Each word cut deeper. She loved me but loved money more. At least she was honest. Harold advised against responding. Any contact could complicate the restraining order. But Daniel disagreed. Silence can be its own answer. Or you write back, set boundaries, define terms. Your choice. I thought about Richard. About the promises I made at his deathbed. Take care of our daughter, he'd whispered. No matter what. But Richard never imagined this. Never imagined Vanessa would become predator instead of child. I wrote back. One sentence, I forgive you, but I cannot trust you. I hope you find peace. I mailed it, then felt lighter. Forgiveness didn't mean reconciliation. It meant releasing the poison. Oliver's birthday came in October. Daniel invited me to the party. 20 children ran through Daniel's backyard, screaming with joy. I helped serve cake, pour juice, tie balloons. Normal grandma things. Oliver introduced me to everyone. This is Grandma Angela. She's my extra grandma because her daughter was mean, but now she's ours. The parents looked confused. Daniel just smiled. As autumn turned to winter, I settled into new routines. Breakfast with Daniel and Oliver on Saturdays. Volunteering at the senior center, helping others navigate legal protections against family fraud. Harold and I developed workshops about conservatorship abuse, educating elderly people about their rights. One workshop attendee, an 82-year-old woman named Dorothy, broke down crying. My son is doing exactly what your daughter did. I thought I was crazy. We helped her. Connected her with Daniel, with Harold, with Detective Cole. Within weeks, her son's fraudulent filing was dismissed. Dorothy hugged me. You saved my life. That became my purpose. Turning my pain into protection for others. Christmas approached. Daniel invited me to spend it with them. Oliver insists. He's drawing you cards daily. I hesitated. I don't want to intrude on family time. You are family. Not by blood, but by choice. Sometimes that's stronger. Christmas morning, Oliver woke me early, bouncing on the guest bed. Grandma. Santa came. Come see. We opened presents, ate too much, watched holiday movies. Normal, beautiful family moments I thought I'd lost forever. In February, a year after my birthday disaster, Romano's restaurant hosted a special dinner. Patricia invited survivors of family fraud. 20 people attended, sharing stories, healing together. Daniel brought Oliver. Harold brought his wife. Detective Cole spoke about protecting yourself legally. I stood to tell my story. A year ago, I stood outside in the rain, turned away on my birthday, humiliated by my own daughter's lies. I thought my life was over. I paused, looking at the faces. But a stranger and his son showed me that family isn't just blood. It's the people who choose to stand beside you when everything falls apart. Oliver waved from his seat. The crowd applauded. After dinner, Vanessa appeared. I hadn't seen her in months. She looked thinner, older, worn by consequences. I won't stay, she said quietly. I just wanted you to know I finished counseling. I'm working 2 jobs, paying restitution. I'm trying to become someone you could be proud of. I studied her face. I hope you succeed. Do you think someday we could talk? Really talk? Maybe. Someday. When you've proven change is real, not just words. She nodded, tears falling. I understand. Thank you for not hating me. I don't hate you, Vanessa. I mourn who you were. But I won't let who you became destroy who I am. She left quietly. Daniel appeared at my elbow. You okay? Yeah, I think I am. Oliver tugged my sleeve. Grandma, can we get ice cream on the way home? Absolutely, sweetheart. We walked out together, my chosen family, into the February night. Behind us, Romano's glowed warm and welcoming. The place where Richard and I built memories. Where Vanessa tried to destroy me. Where Daniel and Oliver saved me. All of it, wrapped in one location. Life's cruelty and beauty intertwined. 6 months later, I legally adopted Daniel and Oliver. Not replacing Vanessa, but honoring the truth. Family is built through loyalty, not just biology. Oliver cried happy tears when the judge finalized it. I have a real grandma now. You always did, sweetheart. The paperwork just made it official. We celebrated at Romano's, of course. Table 12, Richard's favorite spot. I raised a glass to his memory. I kept my promise, darling. I'm happy again. I found family in unexpected places. Today, I'm 72 years old. 2 years since that rainy birthday when everything changed. I stand outside Romano's, but this time Patricia greets me warmly. Your table is ready, Mrs. Fletcher. The whole family's waiting. Inside, Daniel and Oliver sit at table 12. Balloons float above. My attorney Harold and his wife. Detective Cole, who became a friend. Dorothy and the other fraud survivors I've helped. Even Patricia joins us, closing the restaurant for a private party. Oliver presents a handmade card. Happy birthday, Grandma. I love you to the moon and back. We eat, laugh, share stories. Normal family chaos, beautiful and imperfect. My phone buzzes. Text from unknown number. Happy birthday, Mom. I'm proud of the woman you've always been. Maybe someday I'll deserve to celebrate with you again. Love, Vanessa. I show Daniel. He asks, will you respond? I think about Richard, about promises and second chances, about the family I've built from ruins. Yes. I'll say thank you. Because hope, even cautious hope, is better than bitterness. We raise glasses. To survival, to chosen family, to strangers who become saviors. To little boys with stuffed elephants who teach old women about courage. To life after betrayal, proving that sometimes the worst moments lead to the most beautiful transformations.